This afternoon we lost a local hero.
Now, the U.S. Marshal's Office saying a law enforcement officer was shot while serving a warrant this morning near Stella Link and the South Loop. We are getting an update now from officials. The mayor outside Ben Taub Hospital. Let's listen in.
Here on the streets of Houston, and he lost his life. The suspect shot him as he approached to serve the warrant. We'll hear from the sheriff of Brazoria County what a dedicated law enforcement first responder he was. So I want to thank the sheriff, his officers. HPD is on the scene, has perimeters established, and will not go home until they apprehend this repeat violent offender, which demonstrates how important our law enforcement is, not only in Houston, but in our region. We work collaboratively, we come together. District Attorney Tier's office is present, will be involved, holding the suspect accountable. And it's just a sad day that we have to come together to deal once again with the violence in our community by repeat violent offenders. So at this time, I'll yield to the sheriff. Thank you, Sheriff. I know your department's grieving. Houstonians will keep this family in our prayers. I've visited with Mrs. Vargas. They have 3 children. They're devastated, and it shows the dedication and commitment of our first responders. Sheriff?
Today is an awful and tragic day for the community, for our county, for our for Eddie Vargas's family, for Mr. Vargas's family, as well as the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office. Mr. Vargas was a 17-year veteran with the department and served very dedicatedly. Houston PD is now assisting with the investigation, and we will let them turn over them. But I want to assure you that he will be apprehended. I'm going to turn it over to Chief Diaz to mention the investigation.
Thank you, Sheriff Stallman. Noe Diaz, DIAZ, Chief of Police, City of Houston. To echo what the good mayor said, this is a tragic day in our community. It's a sad day because a true crime fighter out here doing the Lord's work lost his life trying to make this community safe. I want to thank the sheriff for his cooperation, the mayor for coming out caring enough to visit with us, and I can assure the community that every resource of the Houston Police Department is going to work around the clock until we get this person in custody. At the scene now, we have 2 components of the investigation. We have the homicide component of the investigation, as well as a manhunt. So we have a perimeter. We've got officers from every department helping. We have DPS helicopters flying in weather like this. This is serious to our community, to the law enforcement community. So I want to thank the community, and if you hear or see anything, please contact the police department. We are working tirelessly. We've got a team right now putting their lives on the line to try to catch this guy who's already shot a police officer. So thank you to the community. Thank you for allowing us to serve in this capacity. And I rest assured that this bad guy will be brought to justice. Thank you.
Sheriff, can you talk about anything about Vargas and that, about, you said he served, you knew him, right?
Yeah. So Deputy Vargas, along with his partner, were attempting to serve a warrant today in Houston, and at that point is whenever he received gunfire from the suspect that he was attempting to apprehend.
Can you talk to us about Deputy Vargas as a person and his service to Brazoria County,
Yeah.
which is quite a community?
Yeah, very dedicated servant to Brazoria County. As I said, he was a member of the Sheriff's Office for 17 years, has three beautiful children and a lovely wife that obviously supports him too. And they are, as you can imagine, grieving, mourning at this time. I would ask that we all send our prayers and our condolences to the family. That's what we're doing as a department and as a community in Brazoria County.
Can you say anything more about the suspect?
I will turn that over to Chief
Mayor.
Diaz,
You wanna say something about
but I do believe that they will be releasing information on the
As soon as this is
suspect.
over, we will.
I referenced that the DA working in collaboration with this investigation, this search, is already doing great work on doing the background check on the suspect. So I'll yield to. Do you have any information you'd like to yield at this time, or it's an ongoing investigation? You want to wait?
Sure, I can just say that it is an ongoing investigation. We have prosecutors on the scene. We also have prosecutors in the office writing search warrants, giving every resource that we have to support the Houston Police Department as we work this case. As soon as they are ready to present their investigation to us, we will be ready to review the case and accept the appropriate charges. I will leave it to Houston Police Department to release any information about the suspect when they feel that they are ready and that it's the appropriate time to do so, but rest assured that they are doing everything they can out there to make sure that the community stays safe while they apprehend this suspect.
Sorry, Chief.
Yes, sir.
What does the public need to know? Right now, this suspect is obviously violent. He's obviously proven to be deadly. What does the public need to know as this manhunt continues right now?
Well, just make sure that you're aware of your surroundings. If you see something, please say something. It's in the 9300 block of Stella Link, which is Stella Link and 610 Loop. So again, there's a heavy police presence. You can't miss it. So right now we are canvassing. We are using canines on the ground. We're looking for video. So the whole process of the investigation is underway. So we'll make sure that that this person is brought to justice. But as far as the community know, that we have enough police officers at the scene on location to make sure that this guy's brought to justice.
And just to be clear, Chief, we're not releasing the name yet of the suspect.
As soon as we are through here, the suspect's name will be released by the Houston Police Department media folks.
And I also want to clear up, whenever I first spoke, I was speaking with his brother, Eddie Vargas, but Jesus Jesse Vargas is my deputy's name, just to be clear on this.
And could you tell us what this warrant was for that he was being served today?
Mayor?
Aggravated assault,
With a
and
deadly
he does have a record. Spent time in TDC. So we will soon learn that he's a repeat violent offender. That's why this task force was pursuing him out of the U.S. Marshal's office, and it's an operation that includes our surrounding county partners, and just so happens they had followed him into the city of Houston, Stella Link, and they saw an opportunity to move on him. And the reason these folks are so violent, they're repeat violent offenders with a warrant, and they know that they're going to be held accountable, and they are the most dangerous suspects that law enforcement and the public has to come in contact with them. We must do something about getting the repeat violent offenders. When you watch the evening news, those individuals that repeatedly hold up convenience stores and do violent acts, it's a number of individuals that are going to court, getting bonds, not being held accountable, not being taken to court, that we're faced with today. And that's where Mr. Vargas was doing his dedicated work. And some of the suspects are just committed not to go back to jail, court, and be held accountable, and they're the most dangerous that we as citizens have to encounter. So it's good that the DA's office is here, ready to pick up the baton and run with it. And now we're going to ask the courts to hold this individual accountable. But first, let's keep in our thoughts the HPD officers that are putting their lives on the line. These are terrible conditions to be out pursuing a dangerous suspect. They're going door to door. They've got the streets barricaded, and our thoughts need to be with HPD officers. And we have, as you know, one of the finest police departments in the country. And so we'll be leaving here to support the first responders that are out there on the scene as I talk.
Chief Diaz, can you share if there are any other suspects or anyone in custody at this point connected to this?
I will share there's no other suspect in custody.
Any persons of interest in custody?
No one is in custody at this time other than the suspect that's on the run.
And lastly, will we do a blue alert for the state to kind of heighten things?
So that's being worked on. Our partners at DPS are working through that information, and they'll soon release a blue alert as well.
And Chief, was there a weapon recovered, or is this suspect armed?
We believe the suspect is armed. I can't answer that there was no weapon recovered at the scene. So it's still a work in progress. There's a lot of manpower trying to bring this guy to justice. So I want to just thank the men and women of the Houston Police Department who are out there doing the hard work. As the mayor said, conditions aren't ideal, but our canine units, everything that we have, every resource that we have is available and is working through this process to make sure that this gets solved quickly.
We'll take one more question. Chief, what do you want to tell us, Mayor? What do you want to tell the citizens right now? I know you don't want to false alarm anybody, but what do you want to tell our citizens?
No, be conscious of your surroundings. Cooperate with law enforcement. HPD is the lead investigation with the DPS. So notify. Don't try to take any action on your own. Protect yourself, but we want everybody to know that all hands on deck. Every agency in our region and even state resources here pursuing this suspect, and he will be found and arrested and held accountable. So I just want Houstonians to realize that our first responders are doing their job. They trained for this. They're placing their lives on the line as we talk, and have Deputy Sheriff Vargas' family in our prayers. Three children, beautiful family, and he gave his life to protect us. So let's go to work. Thank y'all.
Let's take two questions in Spanish for the Chief.
Yes.
Two questions in Spanish for the Chief.
Question.
Si puede dar el balance general, el estatus actual de...
You just heard from Mayor John Whitmire and other authorities confirming a deputy out of Brazoria County was shot and killed while serving a warrant this morning around 11:30. All of this happening near Stella Link and the 610 loop on the southwest side. Deputy Jesus Jesse Vargas, a 17-year veteran of the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office, and his partner were serving a warrant when Vargas was shot. He was taken to Ben Taub Hospital, where he later died. HPD assisting in this investigation as the suspect is still on the run. The suspect, described as a repeat violent offender. HPD Chief Noe Diaz, who you see here right now, says that suspect is believed to be armed, although no weapon was found at the scene. Now, while this manhunt is happening for the suspect, HISD confirms the campus of Shern Elementary is on lockdown. There is no direct threat to students, but again, the principal there confirms the lockdown for the school, which is located on the other side of the South Loop from where the officer was shot. So that school is in the Willow Bend neighborhood. In the meantime, Deputy Vargas, again with the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office, was married with 3 children. So clearly a very, very sad day for law enforcement today in the city of Houston. Right now, let's go live to Katira Winfrey. She is on the southwest side where this shooting happened. Katira, can you set the scene for us?
Well, Reka, we talk about that deputy losing his life, and you can tell just how serious that is when you look around and you see the massive police response. You can take a look right in this parking lot. That's where one man who says he heard multiple gunshots, he said that's where it all went down. He said he was out here, he's actually homeless, and he came over and unfortunately saw that deputy lying on the ground. And we spoke to another man who says that as for the suspect, he saw a man run across the street who was actually limping. So this is all just from bystanders, but you can look around and see agencies. You can hear those officials at that news conference say agencies from across the area have responded, and that is definitely the case. We see police officers obviously from Brazoria County, Houston Police, even HISD Police. And if you take a look again in this Dollar Tree parking lot, you can see a lot of investigators in the parking lot now. You can see the crime scene unit is here. They're taking photos, gathering information, because as you can imagine, this is going to be a really sore spot for a lot of the officers here, knowing the risks that are involved when they come and do this job, but still a sadness that follows when you're faced with such tragedy. Again, not a lot of information on the scene, but a humongous response from police, from fire, other first responders here just trying to wrap their minds around all of this and get some information. Again, we spoke to one man who says he heard shots across the street and he saw that suspect running away and appeared to be limping. Again, police have said that they made a vow to find that person and bring him back into custody. And I know that can only be good news for the officers who are forced to face this tragedy right now that has unfolded right here on Stella Link. Of course, KHOU 11 News will remain on this story and bring you those latest updates. And if we find anything new here or police find the suspect out here, we'll be sure to let you know on air and online. Reka.
Katira, thank you. Stay with me for just a moment. We are going to pull up a picture that HPD, Houston Police, just tweeted of the suspect they are looking for, the suspect on the run. They say his name is Robert Lee Davis, but he is also known as Sean Christopher Davis. He is 56 years old, described as a black man, approximately 200 pounds, standing about 5'10", last seen wearing a blue Nike hoodie with white lettering, blue jeans, blue sneakers. Of course, a lot of law enforcement out on the scene and in the area looking for this individual here as we pull up this social media post from HPD. Again, looking for the suspect, 56-year-old Robert Lee Davis, also goes by the name of Sean Christopher Davis. Katira, if we can go back to you now, you mentioned, and I'm sorry if I didn't hear what you said, but you mentioned witnesses at the scene. Does this sound like the person that they described to you as the suspect?
Absolutely. One of the men who owns a business nearby, actually described that person as an African-American man. He didn't give an age description, but when you say that's the picture that police sent out, it does line up with what we're hearing from witnesses out here on the scene.
Can you set the scene? Obviously, a lot of yellow tape out there. I'm sure a lot of patrol cars out there. It is a rainy afternoon, but it is a Wednesday afternoon around lunchtime. Is that parking lot very busy? Does it seem like there were a lot of people who may have witnessed what went down?
Potentially, but by the time we got here, police had pretty locked down the scene quite a bit. You could not make it down Stella Link this way from the neighborhood. This street is blocked off. The police have this street blocked off. And as for the crime scene tape, it's wrapped initially all around this shopping center. So there could have been more people here at the time, but it being rainy, who's to say for sure? But police definitely have a huge lock on this area. They have it locked down, ready to get their investigation going and try to get some more answers.
Thank you so much. As we look at the scene right now where Katira is, again, pulling up that picture one more time, an active investigation, an active manhunt now for the man you see on the screen, Robert Lee Davis, also goes by another name, Sean Christopher Davis, 56 years old. This is a shot of him apparently wearing the outfit that police are describing, a black man standing about 5'10", 200 pounds. Authorities were serving a warrant to this man this morning around 11:30 when that shooting happened, and city officials, Mayor John Whitmire, a short time ago confirming a deputy out of Brazoria County was shot and killed. That deputy, Jesus Jesse Vargas, a 17-year veteran of the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office. He and his partner serving that warrant this morning when Vargas was shot. Vargas then taken to Ben Taub Hospital, which is only about 15 minutes away from that scene where he was pronounced dead. Authorities telling us that Vargas was married and had 3 children. Again, a very, very sad day for law enforcement and the community as a whole. But again, HPD is investigating or assisting in this investigation as this suspect is still on the run. His picture still on the screen there. If you have any information, if you have seen this person, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers, call police, and let them know. This suspect, this man here, Robert Lee Davis, 56 years old, described as a violent offender, a repeat violent offender. It's unclear what that warrant was for and what that was being served, why that was being served to him. But again, in the serving of that warrant, a deputy has lost his life. And we now are going to actually mention again that a school just on the other side of the South Freeway, again, still on lockdown. It is an HISD school. If you have children who go to Shern Elementary, again, that school is on lockdown. The principal confirming there's no direct threats to students there, but again, the proximity of the school to the crime scene is an issue as they actively search for this suspect. So the principal confirming everyone is safe, the kids are at school, parents are urged to call the school with concerns or questions, but right now that elementary school on the other side, which is Shern Elementary, is on lockdown as they search for the suspect who you still see on your screen. We just heard from Katira Winfrey on the southwest side where this shooting happened, again, to take you through all of this. It happened around 11:30, so just a few hours ago, less than 3 hours ago, when Deputy Vargas and his partner were serving that warrant. Our investigative team, working to get a little bit of a criminal history on the man whose picture you see, on the man who police and authorities are looking for. But he was described in a news conference just a short time ago as a repeat violent offender. He is believed to be armed. So if you see this man, do not approach this person. Please call police. We are, again, into our coverage of a very sad day. A 17-year veteran of law enforcement shot and killed while serving a warrant. And right now, I have investigative reporter Jeremy Rogowski with me. I know you are working frantically to pull up as much information as we can. What are you looking at right now?
So Sean Christopher Davis, aka Robert Lee Davis, we're looking up his criminal history in real time, Reka, on the Harris County District Clerk site. There was a warrant issued for aggravated sexual assault that appears to be issued back in mid-December, December 16th. In terms of this suspect's history, we are seeing convictions for aggravated robbery with serious bodily injury. There's also a DWI charge, evading arrest charge, burglary of vehicle, some weapons charges that date back all the way to, it appears, the late 80s. So an extensive criminal history on this man.
So can we safely assume that this warrant that was issued in December is possibly the one that Deputy Vargas and his partner were trying to serve to this individual?
It's definitively unclear. What we do know is, looking at Harris County records, there was an active warrant for this aggravated sexual assault case.
That was in Harris County.
That was in Harris County. Now you got to remember, the Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force is a multi-agency. We're talking a couple of dozen agencies. That's more of a regional task force. And so, as Chief No Ideas and echoed by Mayor John Whitmer said, you know, what could have started in another location brought them into Harris County to the South Loop at Stella Link. I think they said that. They followed him here.
Yeah, and that would make sense because the information first came via the U.S. Marshal's office, so this is a multi-agency effort.
Right. It's all under the organization, if you will, the U.S. Marshals. And again, they're kind of the overarching administrators, if you will, coordinators, the traffic cops of sorts that handle all these agencies. A lot of these agencies will have, you know, one participant, one member, or a couple of folks, and they all, you know, pool those resources together to go after what's really the most violent, the worst of the worst bad guys out there. So bear with me here. I'm reading some of these pleadings just to try to get a better handle on some of these charges. So again, we're doing this in real time, so bear with us here. The aggravated sexual assault.
That's the most recent warrant, and that was specifically out of Harris County, but we have not checked other counties as these deputies came from Brazoria County.
Correct, and the ag sexual assault, the documents are not imaged on this because of the nature of the offense. That is not uncommon not to have specific details on that because of the sexual assault nature of the crime. So we don't know, at least from online, what the circumstances were on that. The aggravated robbery was out of 2013, going back several years. Again, that was with serious bodily injury, and we're trying to learn more about that. So
and this
very fluid here.
Yeah, and this lines up with what officials were saying, which is he's a repeat violent offender. So clearly a lot of charges against him.
Yeah, dating back years, a couple of decades, in fact. So Why don't I step aside, try
Okay.
to do a little more research here, and we'll come back to you in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Jeremy, thank you so much for that update. Can we go now to Katira Winfrey to take a look at the scene and tell us a little bit more about what she saw and what witnesses were telling her? Is she available? Okay. All right, we're standing by to get more information. Obviously, a very active scene and an active search for this man here, Robert Lee Davis, 56 years old, also goes by the name Sean Christopher Davis, about 200 pounds, standing about 5'10". That is a surveillance photograph of him wearing what it appears to be what he was wearing when all of this went down and when he allegedly shot and killed a Brazoria County Sheriff's deputy. That deputy and his partner serving this man here, Davis, a warrant. And it looks like, okay, so we can go back to Katira now. Katira, let's go back to you.
Yes.
You are on the southwest side again. That yellow tape is going to stay up for a while as this investigation out there continues.
Yes, I can imagine it's going to stay up for well into the evening, possibly into the night. There are so many law enforcement agencies out here. There are multiple crime scene unit vehicles out here. One of my colleagues, Mark Lawyer, actually just noticed some shell casings in the parking lot over there. And again, I want to circle back to that witness who we spoke to earlier. He mentioned that he saw the officer and the person sharing gunshots, sharing fire exchange right here in this parking lot. And he says that's when he saw the man make his way across the street and appeared to be limping. I'm going to try to see if he's still there to go show him that picture to see if that's the same guy he saw. But he also described him as an African-American man. Obviously, we didn't have an age guess. He wasn't able to guess an age, but it lines up with what officials are telling us on the scene. But there is crime scene tape wrapped clear around this shopping center. Not a lot of through traffic, well, not any through traffic. It is mainly first responders out here. They have completely shut this area down, just showing a sign of just how serious this is and how impactful it's going to be on so many agencies, on all these law enforcement officers that are out here dealing with the loss of one of their own. So again, we aren't getting any additional information from officials on the scene right now. But as you heard from the chief, you heard from the mayor, this is a very serious situation. And as always, your hearts go out to that officer as well as his family, his wife, his children, but no timeline as of right now on how long they'll be out here. But we've been down this road before, unfortunately, and we know this is going to be a long and unfortunately sad process for the investigators and everyone involved, Reka.
Yeah, Katira, you saying that gunfire was exchanged between the deputies and the suspect in a parking lot right there on the southwest side. There's it looks like there's a Dollar Tree store in that parking lot. This is a strip center, several businesses
yes.
there. Obviously a rainy day. We're not quite sure, as you said, by the time you got there, it was full of patrol cars. But I'm imagining people coming in and out. It's a good thing that no one else was injured in all of this as that warrant was being served to that man. I'm sorry, our producers are talking to me just. So you're in a busy part of town, 610 Feeder Road. Has traffic been diverted to other areas? Are there any roads in that area that have been closed off because of this investigation?
Yes, completely. Please forgive me, I'm not great with north and south, but Stella Link here heading toward the 9,000 block of Stella Link. No traffic is coming through this way, but right now they are still allowing people to go down the feeder roads on both sides of 610 at Stella Link. So no traffic here. If you live in this neighborhood, you probably know some ways around back to get where you need to go, but there is no traffic making its way through this 900 block of Stella Link 9,000 block of Stella Link right here.
All right, that is good to know, and I'm sure that parking lot is also taped off as well. Katira, thank you so much. Again, we are following this breaking news now. An officer shot while serving, a deputy, I should say, shot while serving a warrant around 11:30 this morning near where Katira is, in that parking lot on the southwest side near Stella Link and the 610 Southwest Loop. Deputy Jesus Jesse Vargas lost his life. He was a 17-year veteran of the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office, and again, he and his partner were serving a warrant to a person described as a repeat violent offender. That person they are looking for, if we can pull up another picture of this man that HPD tweeted, that person is 56-year-old Sean Christopher Davis, also goes by Robert Lee Davis, and authorities are actively searching for this person. Investigative reporter Jeremy Rogowski was here just a moment ago looking through some of the charges that he has faced in Harris County specifically, reporting that a warrant was issued in mid-December for aggravated sexual assault. Again, that was in Harris County. It's unclear if that was the specific warrant that he was being served, but it sounds like from officials, these deputies followed him from the Brazoria County area to here in Harris County when all of this went down on the southwest side. Let's go now to Trayson Bragg, where officials made that very sad announcement about the deputy's passing. Trayson.
Yeah, this was obviously a tragic day for our city, Reka. We heard from the mayor, we heard from Houston's police chief. We also heard from the sheriff of Brazoria County. And take a look behind me here at Ben Taub Hospital, the emergency room here. A very, very large law enforcement presence, and as I'm sure you can imagine, a very difficult day for everyone here. We've seen a number of different law enforcement agencies here, as well as a number of law enforcement just here on scene. They're seeming to get back on their motorcycles now, getting back into vehicles as we're waiting to learn what happens next. But again, this is obviously such a large presence here. You heard all the officials earlier, the mayor, the police chief, talking about how important this manhunt is, how they are not holding any stops. They are all in on finding this suspect who they say is responsible for Deputy Vargas's tragic and untimely death. This is obviously something that they are taking very serious. You heard the mayor, you heard the police chief saying that they are going to be knocking on doors in the area where this all took place. They're going to be walking the neighborhood. They even said they had the chopper up. They said they are not leaving anything to chance. They want to find this suspect as soon as possible. As they say, he is violent, and they believe, as you mentioned earlier, they believe he may be armed. This is something they are treating very seriously, as I'm sure you can imagine. And again, I think you can see the law enforcement presence here behind me really speaks to that. We're still going to be working to learn more. We're going to be working to learn more about Deputy Vargas, and as soon as we learn more, we will let you know. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you all.
Yeah, especially when a law enforcement officer is killed in the line of duty, you are going to expect this kind of response. It's a tough day to be flying a helicopter in this type of weather, but they are looking for this man and they hope to find him as soon as possible. Again, a man who is described as a repeat violent offender. They want to get this man off the streets. Trayson Bragg, thank you so much for that update from Ben Taub Hospital. Let's go now to Victor Jacobo. He is outside the Harris County Medical Examiner's office where Deputy Vargas's body will eventually be brought. Victor.
Yeah, Rega, we're here at the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences, and as you mentioned, this is likely where Deputy Vargas will be taken as this investigation continues. But as our reporters have mentioned, this is a very active situation, very fluid, and a lot of things changing in the moment. Something our viewers, and including ourselves, have probably heard in just the last 10 minutes is a buzz from our phone. A blue alert has gone out and been activated, tied to this case. Now, that's highlighted highlighting the man wanted in this shooting as Robert Lee Davis, also known as Sean Christopher Davis, the 56-year-old man who is the suspect in this shooting death of the Brazoria County Deputy Vargas. Now, the blue alert activated very rarely, but there is some criteria needed in order for law enforcement to put it out that it can reach everybody's phone all at once. Again, that happened just a few minutes ago, around 2:23 is when I got it on my phone, and I'm sure many folks have gotten it. It sounds very similar to an Amber Alert, but for a blue alert, it happens when a law enforcement officer is either killed or seriously injured. Other criteria that's needed is law enforcement needs information on any suspects who are involved in that particular incident, which they do have with this particular case, where they do have photos, a description, and a name for this suspect. They also need some collaboration with and be able to notify some other agencies. And so, as we know, multiple agencies working with this one. And so that blue alert going out just a few minutes ago, really hitting many people's phones. But again, folks focusing on the manhunt for the suspect in this case. And you heard in Mayor Whitmire's comments in that press conference something that he has brought up time and time again, really since the campaign and since he's really completed this first year in the mayor's office, and that is applying pressure and making it known that he wants stricter, tougher judges to really reconsider bail and the bond issue when it comes to particularly repeat violent offenders. And so that is, when you're looking at the wider political lens of this particular issue, Mayor Whitmire again kind of bringing this up during his comments, something that he has brought up time and time again, and certainly he has built close relationships with law enforcement, but will continue to focus on this particular issue as he moves forward with this particular case. Reka.
Yeah, Victor Jacobo outside the Harris County Medical Examiner's office. Victor, thank you. And we can expect to see a lot more law enforcement officers join you there. Typically in instances like this, when a law enforcement officer has been shot and killed in the line of duty, you'll see a lot of other law enforcement officers show up at the ME's office as his body will be transferred from Ben Taub, of course, to the medical examiner. A lot of times a very somber moment. You see folks lining up and saluting out of respect for Deputy Jesus Jesse Vargas. Okay, Jeremy Rogalski back here now. You've learned some new information?
We have. We ran his criminal history search through the Texas Department of Public Safety, Texas DPS database. This is not Mr. Davis's first rodeo by any stretch. Let's take you back in time a little bit. In 1990, he had an arrest for burglary of a motor vehicle. 2 years later, in 92, he was charged and convicted with escape. So you start to paint the picture of what kind of a suspect authorities were trying to deal with today. Prior arrest and conviction for escape. In 1994, we talked about that aggravated robbery charge, and that was what's known as aggravated robbery SBI, serious bodily injury. We're still trying to get our hands on the exact charging documents to learn more about the specifics of that case. But it wasn't just an ag robbery. It was an ag robbery causing serious bodily injury to the victim in that case. And that was in 1994. Then you fast forward to just last month in mid-December, there was a warrant issued for aggravated sexual assault. Again, we do not know definitively if that was the warrant that this task force, the members of the task force, were trying to serve on South Stella Link Boulevard today near the 610 loop, but that is the one we've been able to find that was on file out of Harris County. Again, aggravated sexual assault. So you have an ag robbery, you have a charge for ag sexual assault, you have a prior arrest and conviction for escape, and obviously you have a deceased deputy sheriff from Brazoria County and a man still at large. So when Chief Noedea says, you know, every body out there, everybody with a badge, probably literally is out there looking for this man you see on our screen. That is not hyperbole. That's very, very serious and very true.
Yeah, on the ground and in the air. We understand they're searching by helicopter as well, even given this weather. So no stone will be left unturned. All right, you've been watching our breaking news report. A deputy out of Brazoria County killed in the line of duty while serving a warrant to a repeat violent offender in the Southwest Houston area. Of course, we are staying on top of of this story as we take a live look at Ben Taub Hospital. You can go to our website and on KHOU 11 Plus. We will be streaming the procession as Deputy Vargas's body is taken from Ben Taub Hospital to the medical examiner's office this afternoon. And of course, we'll have the latest on air on KHOU 11 News at 4.
Mesothelioma lawyers on television. How do you choose the right firm for you and your family? Our goal is to get you as much as you deserve. $30 billion was set aside for mesothelioma victims like you. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, we'll come to you within 24 hours so our team can get to work right away. Call us now. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Call 800-502-4500.
With moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, my skin was no longer mine.
My active psoriatic arthritis joint symptoms held me back.
Don't let symptoms define you. Emerge as you with clearer skin. With Tremfya, most people saw 100% clear skin that stayed clear, even at 5 years. Tremfya is proven to significantly reduce joint